A Journey to the Center of the Earth. Chapter 1. My uncle makes a great discovery. Looking back to all that has occurred to me since that eventful day, I am scarcely able to believe in the reality of my adventures. They were truly so wonderful that even now I am bewildered when I think of them. My uncle was a German, having married my mother's sister, an English woman. Being very much attached to his fatherless nephew, he invited me to study under him in his home in the fatherland. This home was in a large town, and my uncle, a professor of philosophy, chemistry, geology, mineralogy, and many other ologies. One day, after passing some hours in the laboratory, my uncle being absent at the time, I suddenly felt the necessity of renovating the tissues. I was hungry, and was about to rouse up our old French cook, when my uncle, Professor von Hardwig, suddenly opened the street door and came rushing upstairs. I was hungry and was about to rouse up our old French cook, when my uncle, Professor von Hardwig, suddenly opened the street door and came rushing upstairs.
Rouse.
I was hungry and was about to rouse up our old French cook. Now Professor Hardwig, my worthy uncle, is by no means a bad sort of man. He is, however, choleric and original. To bear with him means to obey, and scarcely had his heavy feet resounded within our joint domicile than he shouted for me to attend upon him. He is, however, choleric and original. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Harry.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. I hastened to obey, but before I could reach his room, jumping 3 steps at a time, he was stamping his right foot upon the landing. I hastened to obey. Harry, he cried in a frantic tone, "Are you coming up?" Now, to tell the truth, at that moment I was far more interested in the question as to what was to constitute our dinner than in any problem of science. To me, soup was more interesting than soda, an omelette more tempting than arithmetic, and an artichoke of 10 times more value than any amount of asbestos. Now, to tell the truth, to me, soup was more interesting than soda. But my uncle was not the man to be kept waiting, so adjourning therefore all minor questions, I presented myself before him.
Adjourned.
So adjourning.
Adjourned.
So adjourning. Adjourning. Adjourn. adjourn, adjourning, adjourning. So adjourning all minor questions. Finally, he was a very learned man. Now most persons in this category supply themselves with information, as peddlers do with goods, for the benefit of others, and lay up stores in order to diffuse them abroad for the benefit of society in general. Not so my excellent uncle, Professor Hardwick. He studied, he consumed the midnight oil, he pored over heavy tomes, and digested huge quartos and folios in order to keep the knowledge acquired to himself.
Quarto. Quarto. Quarto.
Quartos, huge quartos and folios, huge quartos and folios, huge quartos and folios. There was a reason, and it may be regarded as a good one, why my uncle objected to display his learning more than was absolutely necessary. He stammered, and when intent upon explaining the phenomena of the heavens, was apt to find himself at fault, and allude in such a vague way to sun, moon, and stars, that few were able to comprehend his meaning. To tell the honest truth, when the right word would not come, it was generally replaced by a very powerful adjective. That few are able to comprehend. That few were able to comprehend. In connection with the sciences, there are many almost unpronounceable names, names very much resembling those of Welsh villages, and my uncle being very fond of using them, his habit of stammering was not thereby improved. In fact, there are periods in his discourse when he would finally give up and swallow his discomfiture in a glass of water. Names very much resembling those of Welsh villages.